Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're going to talk about why Palantir might blow up after earnings. We have just finished Q3, so in this video we're going to go over my Q3 predictions and what's going to happen with the stock price. And I'm also going to show you some things because Palantir has been acting very strange lately, and this is potentially very good news for us investors. So as always, if you like this content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button that is down here. And if you want to go even further and support the channel, check out the first link in the description box below, which takes you to our Patreon page where you can support the channel for $5 a month, get direct access to me and to all the valuations that we use on this channel. And as a Swedish guy in Europe in the middle of a huge energy crisis, it would really help me out. So thank you for checking it out. So Palantir has been acting very strange lately, and let me show you what I mean. So the market since September 7 has been falling 9.95%, basically 10%. This is the chart of the S&P 500, whereas Palantir, which has mainly been following the macro 100%, has gone up 15.8%. So that's a 25% difference compared to how the market has been doing and how the S&P 500 has been doing. And if you have been watching this channel, you know that I have been always saying that it was the growth stocks that led us into this recession. They started falling from February 2021. They have been falling since almost 2 years now. Yeah, definitely more than 1.5 years. And many people say that they will be the ones that lead us out of it. And you can see that there's many growth stocks that have not gone to a new low. Palantir is definitely one of them. We can see a very clear support around this $7, and it's been holding that since May this year. And just this week, it has very good reason for it. There's a bunch of good news that has a lot to do with Q3, and I want to show you a very quick video here that explains it. Don't know what happened here. Let's reload.
Now, Palantir Technologies, my pick, ticker PLTR, was enjoying some strong gains today before the broader market sell-off, still though in positive territory by about 1.5%. Now, the Defense Department awarded Palantir a $229 million deal to develop and deliver artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities for the armed services, joint staff and special forces. Now, you'll recall this is actually the contract that Google abandoned after backlash from its employees, according to Bloomberg. Now, this move, Palantir co-founder Peter Thiel criticized Google for. Now, Palantir has been building on this government relationship that actually started with the Army Research Lab in 2018, having secured a $95.9 million contract with Homeland Security investigations just this month as well. Of course, the company acknowledged that its government-awarded contracts can be unpredictable. And of course, the stock has been under pressure with Homeland Security investigations just this month as well. Having secured a $95.9 million contract with Homeland Security investigations just this month as well. Of course, the company acknowledged that its government-awarded contracts can be unpredictable. And of course, the stock has been under pressure ever since issuing downbeat forward guidance with its recent earnings report. So some good news on a down day overall, though, for the broader tech sector, Shauna.
Yeah, Rachel, it's interesting when it comes to Palantir because over the past year, the stock's off just around 70%, yet they have met their goal. They promised when they went public just about 2 years ago that they would at least put up grow revenue at a rate of more than 30% annually. They've done that. Yes, the latest earnings report, they did miss a little bit when it comes to guidance. We saw that reflected in the stock the next day. The stock tanked just over 15%, its worst day on record. So the fact that Palantir does have this bit of good news, I think will certainly help investor sentiment when it comes to Palantir. But I think the pressure is going to be on next quarter to see whether or not they do meet what the street is looking for.
Very good points by her. And one of them is one of my favorite, and why I like this stock so much is because they are doing exactly what they said they would be doing. And that is growing 30% year over year for the next 5 years. And as she pointed out, they only missed in the last quarter. Now, they have been winning a bunch of government contracts, as you have heard. Also in the UK, NHS, they won a quite big government contract. So finally, the government contracts are starting to come back in. Now, the big question is, are they going to be able to count these in Q3, or these effects will start in Q4? So this is not known yet. But let's look at the predictions. This is the table that you can get access to if you join the Patreon. Let me just make my head very small. So these are the predictions that management put out. And as you can see, this is their year-over-year growth rate quarterly. And you can see that it's going down quite a lot every quarter. And this is what really had investors worried. And they have been basically guiding for a super low growth of 17%, mainly because of the government sector. I did lots of videos about this, that if the commercial sector keeps growing, then the government sector will be more and more insignificant, and their commercial sector is growing very nicely. There is no slowdown there. So this is a very temporary thing, and they are going to go back to the 30% per year over year growth simply because the commercial is going to be that big. And on top of it, if the government sector now starts to perform, then it will be very easy to revise these numbers up. And I don't know if you remember regarding this market crash when Michael Burry tweeted, he's been a broken clock, right? He has been predicting one of the last 15 recessions. So he has been, saying that a market crash is coming, and he has been pretty wrong about it. But he said that we had a multiple compression because of the Fed. So that's stage one of the crash. And now there is an earning recession coming, which is going to be the second leg of the crash. But in Palantir's case, in Q2 was the one when they really announced their earnings crash, and they really admitted that they're growing slower, and they started giving a really, really pessimistic outlook for them. So that means that they set the bar very, very low. So the reason why I think that after this earning, the stock might rally and might go back to the, over $10, potentially even to the $15 range, is because even if they hit these very bad targets, then they still said it's already priced in. It's exactly what they said they would do. But if they exceed these numbers, then, analysts have to reevaluate what they're doing. And I think that it's very likely that they're going to revise the Q4 numbers. So we are going to reach a re-acceleration of growth, which is going to be amazing. Now, there is a few other things that play into Palantir's earnings. They have done a very stupid SPAC investment with $400 million. And they are, something like 80-90% down on almost all of those investments. So basically they just wasted $300 million. Obviously, if they don't sell these shares, there's a high chance that these will come back up. But as a prudent investor, you do need to think with that each quarter they have to report the gains or losses from these stocks. And since I've been tracking this, I've always been thinking these stocks cannot go any lower and they cannot have more losses from them. And they surprise me every quarter. So this quarter, the stocks were really, really, really down. And last quarter, I think they had like a $90 million loss. Now, we don't know if they have sold these shares or not. This supposes that if they wouldn't have sold the SPAC shares, then their loss would be $16 million. It's almost negligible. So, but I did want to account with this, and I don't think, as every quarter, that these stocks can go any lower, but who knows? So, and then there is our dreaded stock-based compensation. And here I did a graph of, or not a graph, but I'm showing quarter by quarter how much the stock-based compensation was and how much the taxes after the stock-based compensation was. And this is a very negative point in many investors' eyes. And you can see that the stock-based compensation reached its peak in Q2 2021 at $232 million. And it has been falling ever since. And I think very likely it's going to keep falling. And basically, I have no clue how to predict this other than Alex Karp said that this number would be falling. So I'm going to say that, let's say this quarter, it's going to be $140 million, and the taxes related to the stock-based compensation is going to be $5 million. And if we add all of these together, we know that they were guiding for $55 million in adjusted operating margin. That's if you take the bookkeeping and you add back in things, because, for example, the stock-based compensation is not a cash expense for the company. So if you want to know the true financial, like how cash-wise the company is doing, you need to add back, and also the SPAC stocks that they lose money on. If they keep the stocks, it's not a realized loss. It's only a paper loss. It's not a cash loss. So you need to add those back in to get the adjusted profit. And this, they are predicting that it would be $55 million. That is quite a big fall from Q3 2021. It's a 52% fall. Obviously, this is very ugly. The fact that they're, slowing down on growth is very ugly. I personally would really like to see an explanation from them on why they are having, why the adjusted margin is falling so much. My guess is that investing into, maybe some stuff in Russia, Ukraine that they are not getting paid for yet, which will be a huge bonus later on, or they're expanding into some other product. But nevertheless, it would be very good to know this as an investor. So I think that their gap profit is going to be 106 million, a negative 106 million. And that's not going to look very good. It is what it is. However, I do think that they are going to revise their Q4 numbers and they're going to give a way more upbeat forecast into the future. And that's going to be very, very good for the stock. And if you would put a gun to my head, I would guess that this was the bottom for Palantir, this bit below $8 mark. I would be very surprised. I've been on record saying that I do think this is the bottom for Palantir. And if the theory holds true and the S&P 500 goes down even more and Palantir keeps going up and, some of the growth stocks start uptrending, this means that we're really bottoming out of this really tiresome crash and we will be finally over it. But this remains to be seen. Anyhow, let me know in the comments your predictions for the Palantir Q3 earnings. If you have watched the video this far, then you're really an OG viewer. I really appreciate you. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the subscribe button because it really helps out with the algorithm. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.